All right, we are live.
We are live. Welcome everyone to Good Medicine Way. We're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 6,000 feet above sea level, so we're all high. Hey. So,
Okay.
got a few. I gotta remember, I'm just an old dad, so you get a corniness every now and then from me. So, well, welcome everybody. We got a good group showing here, and we got a group here that's in person tonight. We got the Native InterVarsity folks with us. They're in a planning meeting here and spending some time in Albuquerque, and also on their spiritual formation too, that I heard that they've been doing. So we're here in the land of the Pueblo. We're exactly where we're at now, with the Sandia to our north and the Isleta Pueblo to our south, and many of the 17 others that are up and down the Rio Grande here. So we have the Navajo Nation a couple hours to our west, and the two Apache reses close by us here too. So with that, I want to turn it over to Petadako, who's going to have our directional prayer. All right.
Hi, everybody in person. Hi, everybody online. Hey. I'm very, very excited right now. Very excited. Cedric! Hi! Hi, everybody! Sorry, I'm getting so excited. You guys see my new hair? I got my hair done today. It's really short, but it's all right. Hey, it's all right. Okay. So anyway, but yes, I just want to welcome you guys here, following our Uncle Casey Church, our pastor, he's the awesomeness. So for the Four Directions prayer, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of start praying a little bit about things that have been on my heart and that I've been seeing like around our family here. So, okay, so here we go. If you guys will enter into the space with me, so we can get a nice little prayer going. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for gathering all of our many family and friends together tonight. Thank you for guiding our Native InterVarsity family safely over to Albuquerque. I know that they had a really great time at their fall retreat, and I would have loved to have been there, but I'm so glad that Creator was able to bless many of the students that are sitting there right now, many of the staff. I'm really excited to hear this. Heavenly Father, I just pray that you help us to never forget the ones who have guided us through the summer as we reap a bountiful harvest, Lord. I want to thank you for helping us to seek those who have traveled too far off the path. I want to thank you for thank you that we can still see the goodness in people, Lord. And that we know that Creator is always with us, guiding us and protecting us. Even when we feel, even when we are or feel alone, Lord. I want to thank you for the many hands that are here in Good Medicine Way, Lord. I pray that you continue to guide us, Lord. I know that many of us have been going through a lot of things, a lot of different things in our lives, Lord, but I just want to thank you for the bountiful harvest that we have around us, Lord, with all the seeds that were planted over like the last several months, Lord. I know that many of them are breaking through the surface. And Lord, all of those that are coming into the end of the stage, Lord, I just pray that you guide them safely over. Guide them safely over wherever they may go, Lord. I want to thank you for the beautiful sunrise. Thank you for the beautiful sunset that is happening for where I am at. And Lord, I just want to thank you. I come to you with a thankful heart, and I pray that tonight, as Leah Grover shares tonight, I pray that more seeds are planted, Lord, and I pray that you help us to grow closer to one another. And I just want to thank you again, Lord. I ask all these things in your Son Jesus' name, Amen. Sorry, I got a little got a little long-winded there. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna hand it back over to Uncle Casey. So yeah, but yes, welcome everybody. Hey.
She's always a delight, isn't she? It just brightens up our whole evening here. So we're going to go into with the Grovers with our song here called Powwow 61. Sing along if you know the words. I think we're going to start bringing, I make shakers that I sell at the powwow. I'm going to start bringing them with me and having a basket full of them here so that everybody can have one here. So we got one extra one here. Somebody wants to sing along?
Do that. We'll get the lyric shares. So this is our song that combines version of Psalm 61 that Matthew Ward did like 40 years ago, something like that. And then it also uses the an Oklahoma grass dance that Jonathan Miracle made famous when he recorded it. me dwell in your tent forever.
Very good. We're getting better and better at that, aren't we? Boy, that's getting so we can sing it without looking at the words now, so that's pretty cool. So now we're going to go on to a time of our participation with everybody here. Leah McCool is going to lead us in Creator's Prayer. This is the Lord's Prayer from the First Nations version. So she's with us here tonight. She's second one down, right below me there, like in the Birdie Bunch, right down here. so Brian will lead us through.
Okay, yeah. So we'll speak it through first, and then we'll go through it with Leah. So let me get the words up here real quick, and we'll just talk through it together. Yeah, that's not the one. There we go. All right. Creator Sets 3 shows us how to pray. O great Spirit, our Father from above, we honor your name as sacred and holy. Bring your good road to us, where the beauty of your ways in the spirit world above is reflected in the earth below. Provide for us day by day the elk, the buffalo, the salmon, the corn, the squash, and the wild rice. All the things we need for each day. Release us from the things we have done wrong. In the same way, we release others who have done wrong to us. Guide us away from the things that tempt us to stray from your good road, and set us free from the evil one and his worthless ways. Aho, may it be so. All right, and then Leah will go over the sign language in detail with us. So take it away, Leah.
Hello. Ready? O great Spirit, our Father from above, we honor your name as sacred and holy. Bring your good road to us, where the beauty of your ways in the spirit world above is reflected in the earth below. Provide for us day by day the elk, the buffalo, the salmon, the corn, the squash, and wild rice. All the things we need for each day. Release us from the things we have done wrong. In the same way, we release others for the things done wrong to us. Guide us away from the things that tempt us to stray from your good road, and set us free from the evil one and his worthless ways. Aho, may it be so.
All right, this is how we, everybody, if you haven't done it before, this is how we applaud and sign. All right, very good, Leah. Always a good job. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to go now to our smoke signals and giveaway. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, smoke signals are when we send messages. It's our announcement time. And our giveaway is our offering time. And we have a rubber blanket up down there in the front there. And we take a offering here. And I'll leave it up to Brian to tell you how the other offering here with our QR code. And go ahead.
All right, so yeah, the smoke signal I have for you this week is to invite all the ladies to our women's book discussion, which is Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Walkhammer, and that is on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Yep, that book there. And so she's a Potawatomi lady who is telling about her Potawatomi ways of viewing nature as our kin. But she's also got her PhD in environmental science, so she blends those together in a really poetic way. So yeah, so yes, how you get to that is you go to the Good Medicine Way Facebook group. At the top left, you click on Browse, then Events, and that'll be there. So that's for all the ladies, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then here's another book.
Right, see, Gene Stevenson and I, we're working with a group here on Randy Woodley's book, Mission and the Cultural Other, and we finished that one there. We're taking a small break now, and then we're going to pick up the next book that we're going to go, and this one here is going to be open for men and women to be a part of, and so lots of learning to come from this. We're going to be reading through this book here, Pagan Christianity, by Frank Viola and George Barna. Give you a chance, the time to order that and get going. But if you want to kind of prepare yourself for it, you can go to paganchristianity.org, and there's lots of resources and videos and podcasts that you can get an idea of what this book is really setting a stage for things to happen in the future, because it goes into the depth of where we got our Christian expressions that we do in our church today, and they all came from pagan Europe. So it's really trying to make that a point and I teach this in my class because many of the students don't realize that their churches are that way. And the main reason that I do that in my class called Mission Ecclesiology is that they have to understand that we Native people have the same freedom to create a Christianity that looks like us. So I use this book to break that way of thinking, so that they can think about ways that Native people can understand and have their own Christian ways of understanding from our Native ways. So that's going to be starting on Tuesday, the 24th of October, 7 in the evening, and we'll try to go for an hour. Probably always go longer, but you just be prepared for that and set some time aside so that you can learn from this. And that's it for that.
All right. Any other smoke signals anywhere? You can put them in the chat during the time tonight, and we'll get them read?
I
for
think
you?
one announcement would be that we have a big crowd here tonight. Let's hear it, going. Yeah, biggest crowd we have. They're all dressed the same here, too.
Your
Yeah.
camera, turn your camera this way.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Okay, everybody, can you see our group there? There, slow it down. All right. These are the InterVarsity group. They're here in town, spending some time and planning. Keep us in prayer that they have W. Jeff here in Albuquerque, New Mexico next year. So keep us in prayer that all those everything will come in alignment with God's will. So let's start over to the giveaway.
All right. Well, yes, if you'd like to bless the work of Good Medicine Way, you can go to also our Facebook group, and there at the top is a logo you can click on to donate through PayPal or another card, or you can message us about if you'd like to donate in another way. And also during this next song that Leah McCoo will be doing here in a minute, we'll put our QR code blanket up, but if you'd like to take a picture of that and donate that way, that is another avenue for you. And there's the blanket for the in-person offerings there. So it is now the giveaway time.
So while Leah McCoo is singing, and if you want to give, we hold that blanket up here and raise it to the Lord, give it from ourselves to the Lord, for His ministry here in the world.
Hey, it's all right to throw some change in there too. We can use some quarters, some nickels, some dimes. Just kidding.
Okay,
Way.
Take it away, Leah.
okay. Blessed is he who will follow the Lord. He will not stand in the path of a sinner. He will not sit in the seat of a scoffer. For the law of the Lord is his delight. In his law he meditates day and night. He will be like a tree planted by water. He will yield his fruit in its season. His leaves won't die. In whatever he does, he will prosper. Blessed is he who will follow the Lord. He will not stand in the path of the sinner. He will not sit in the seat of the scoffer. For the law of the Lord is his delight. For the lost are like chaff the wind drives away. They are not safe at any time. Their lives could perish. Blessed is he who will follow the Lord. He will not stand in the path of a sinner. He will not sit in the seat of a scoffer. For the law of the Lord is his delight. The Lord he plans, and the paths of all who follow him. The righteous will stand, secure and last forever. The Lord holds the plans and the paths of all who follow him. The righteousness will stand secure and last forever. Blessed is he who will follow the Lord. He will not stand in the path of a sinner. He will not sit in the seat of the scoffer. For the law of the Lord is his delight. For the law of the Lord is his delight. For the law of the Lord is his delight. Oh,
Beautiful. Brian, you want to say something about her canting? Oh, her professional.
Oh, well, I don't know. If you guys don't know Leah McCoo, she's a phenomenal musician from the Chicagoland area, now up a little bit north of there these days. She's got a few different CD releases out, and along with her music stuff she does, she's also, I can't remember how the right way to say, she's
Cantorial soloist?
a cantorial soloist, which means she's a cantor who didn't go to yeshiva. So, but I don't know if you want to say anything else about what you do, Leah. You can toss that out.
yes, this was an exciting season. I'm just coming to the end of the Jewish high holidays. And so these are Jews that believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So some people go, oh, Jews for Jesus. Jews for Jesus is very specific. Like YMCA is very specific. You might believe in the Messiah and not be in the YMCA, right? But we just finished Rosh Hashanah, which means head of the new year, set of beautiful prayers that I've been learning since I was a little girl, under Max Janowski, who wrote many of these melodies that Barbara Streisand has recorded that people think is the traditional melody, but actually it's just been done for 50 years. And he was an organist, and I got to study under him when I was a little girl. And so I'm a cantorial soloist, meaning if I tell people I'm a cantor, which is what I'm serving as when I go to the congregations and sing these prayers, if I say I'm if I say I'm a cantor, they assume that I don't believe in Jesus, that I have gone to a Jewish yeshiva school, and that I am like a rabbi. I mean, I have a certificate that I went to this school and graduated as a cantor. So no, I know all the prayers, and so I'm a soloist. I'm an operatic soloist of these prayers. And I love it. And I tell people that what happens to me when I'm chanting these prayers, the only time that it's equaled is when I'm doing powwow worship. That it just seems like the Lord is going through me and coming out of my pores. It's overwhelming, and I feel like it's past me, like it just goes out into the world. Those are the only two times that I can imagine that I have felt this, okay.
Wow. Yeah, very, very good. Thank you for that. We're going to have the reading of the Creator's Word now by Christina, our friend from California here, reading Psalms 1. And very soon we'll be reading this from the First Nations version with Psalms and Proverbs here. So Christina?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah. After you were singing, I was like, gosh, we need to just have Leah sing the word, And I felt speaking it. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and just speak out Psalm 1. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. And I thought that I'd read that scripture out with my accidental squash garden that's flourishing and my favorite palm tree. So bear with me as I'm reading the scripture today.
Thank you so much. We're going to go into a stillness time as we prepare for our speaker. I will introduce them after that. So Brian is going to lead us through a flute song as we prepare ourselves for this. Well, our speaker tonight, Leah McCoo, is right here.
Or Grover, anyway.
Oh, sorry, Leah, got me going. You look alike.
Exactly.
I can hardly tell you guys apart. Must be sisters, twins. So I just threw that in there just to throw you all up. Leah Grover. She's been with us from the very start when we had the vision for doing this ministry some years ago. In 16 is I think when I started thinking about doing this kind of ministry. Terry LeBlanc came into town and we talked with the pastor at the church there, and he said, let's do it. And from that time on, I just prayed about it, and I went and I visited with these folks here, and I asked them if they would be a part of this venture, and they came on, and they've been on ever since. So Leah Grover, she wrote this, is of Swiss, Polish, English, Irish, Scottish, Scandinavian, Crow, and Blackfeet heritage. She ministers through proofreading and ministers with the Jesus People USA in Chicago in the inner city 25 years and has been on the staff of Good Medicine Way since 17. She received a BA from Native American Studies at the University of New Mexico and a minor in Navajo language and linguistics at the university as well. Leah is also, and Brian, they are grandparents now, so we got grandma and grandpa here too.
Yeah.
So
Got my cane in the back.
Yep, they fit right in here now with old me here. So I want to turn it over to Leah, and she can introduce herself a little bit more as well with the new baby.
All right, yes, we will. Oh, yes, let's get that turned around. We've got some pictures for you in the middle.
Of course.
All right, well, so I was thinking about what to share. I thought it could be good to tell you about the time my sister and I were raised by our parents on the shores of the Mississippi in Minnesota, and about the trees up the hill. Then at Camp Lebanon upon Cedar Lake in Uppsala, Minnesota, I gave my life to the Son of the Creator. Oops, do I need to unmute myself?
No.
No, that's right. I only want one microphone. So yeah, on the shores of Cedar Lake there in Uppsala, Minnesota, is where I gave my life to the Son of the Creator while in my cabin bunk bed when I was 10 years old. A storm howled through the trees that night, yet I was comforted. Then my family moved down to Missouri, and my sister and I went down to the Finley River and got washed clean from our old ways of living. We lived next to a very large magnolia tree, and I grew in my relationship with the Son of the Creator there, and then moved by myself to Chicago. Lake Michigan was my guardian then, and I learned from many followers of Creator's Son a little bit about living life together as the body of Creator's Son. While there, I was married to Brian, and we had our 3 kids. Creator's Spirit blew us down to Albuquerque after that, where the Cottonwoods teach us their dance all up and down the Rio Grande River in the pink sunset reflection of the Sandia Mountains. Casey asked us to help facilitate a weekly gathering looking at the teachings of Creator's Son. The gathering would honor cultural ways and mindsets of the people indigenous to the lands of Minnesota, Missouri, New Mexico, and the rest of Turtle Island. We've been honored to be trusted with this apprenticeship. We've recently graduated into the empty nesters and grandparents phase of life in the same month after 32 years of marriage this month, Brian and I. And I feel happy that Creator's been keeping an eye on me through thick and thin. And we have, as we promised last week, just a few pictures to show you of Winifred Eleanor, our very first grandchild. And Winifred's name means, let me get this right again, Blessed, Holy Reconciliation, and Eleanor means shining light. She was born on David, about forgiveness. Yep, there she is, just out of the womb, looking at the dad, taking it all in. So yes.
See your parents for the first time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing her soon. I love this little Oh, I just woke up from a nap.
Looks like she has wings.
Oh, there she is. Checking everything out with the brand new eyes. Yeah, she's 1 week old right now. So, yep. Yeah, so Winifred Eleanor. Woohoo. So, yes, there's her. Good baby. All right. Well, to kind of open things up here at Good Medicine Way, that we've been helping out with, watching grow for 6 years now. I wonder if these types of gatherings, like Good Medicine Way, are what Creator hopes to grow along waterways, forests, and mountainsides where you all live. And if so, like a tree, these types of gatherings can start impossibly small and shoot up like a pretty unimpressive sprout, but if you keep showing up and carrying the prayers in your hearts, finally it's a sapling, and you think you might have something going here. But why are the mindsets and the ways of looking at things of indigenous people important to bring over to the teachings of Creator's Son? Well, at Good Medicine Way, we definitely believe that they fit like hand in glove. But there was something a few years ago while I was going to school at the University of New Mexico here to get a bachelor's in Native American Studies. One of my professors from the Santa Clara Pueblo, his name is Dr. Gregory Cajete. He's written books about Native views on science. He gave us a worksheet this day. It really changed my way of thinking. It talked about the difference between Native American ways of knowing and valuing and European ways of knowing and valuing. So the ways that the Europeans know is by counting and measuring. And the way Native Americans know is through rhythm, imagery, symbolism. And the ways that the Europeans value, or how they value and what they value, is by obtaining the desired object. And the ways of Native American valuing are through experiencing the harmony of all beings in all times. Just the difference of those two things, those two categories, is just such a different way of viewing things. And I mean, I think the European ways of knowing and valuing, they can be good, but I just think in my head there's so much more resonance with like Christ's teachings, and even the way like Creator was trying to set up Israel to take care of one another was very much more like, the making sure you're in harmony with the land you're on, with the ancestors, with the children who are coming along, giving the land a rest every 7 years, and so forth. But as I'm letting this simmer in your mind, and we're going to do another actually poem with flute here, you can be thinking, if you've got anything you'd like to chip in along these lines. Mm-hmm. This is a poem I wrote several years ago called Psalm 1. Blessed is the one who does not walk or stand or sit, but delights in and meditates on. This is more tree-like and like unto being planted, drawing nourishment from the soil, resisting disease, and being thoroughly productive. You will be tended if you're planted, but blown away if you have no roots.
So we're going into questions and comments now? Is that the
Q&R.
plan? Okay. All right, let me unpin you from the... All right, so yeah, short and sweet, to the point. So yeah.
My twin has a
Good
comment.
thing. How'd you get?
All right, go ahead, Leah McCool.
There you are.
I was trying to figure out how to take the hand down and turn off my mute. So when did you write that poem?
Maybe 15, 20 years ago?
It sounds like it's right out of Sweetgrass. Braiding Sweetgrass. It sounds like it's like one of the page breaks in between chapters.
Okay.
It so sounds like Braiding Sweetgrass. Wow. That's all.
All right. So all the people who've been contemplating coming on Wednesday nights, that's a little tiny slice.
I was thinking that same thing when I was sitting back here talking with Sean D, and I says, some of this sounds like she's been really influenced by Braiding Sweetgrass. I went through the book on Audible, and it is tremendous. The beauty that she reads and writes, it's so nice. And being from that area too, that really resonated with me when she's talking about walking through the land. And I can remember, barefoot as I was, going out into the world there and just feeling that and everything that she brings out in that story. It kind of sounds like what's going into your life there.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I think creation has a lot to teach us, or even like our furry relatives. We've been adopted by a black cat, the lucky black bobcat. Just for the past couple months, we have a lot of stray cats in our neighborhood, and one of them has decided to let us, keep it in our house. And yeah, I've just noticed lately about how cats are just like, or ours is anyway, contemplative. They're just like, they'll stare at something for a long time and just soaking it in, and they're not in any rush. Not all prisoners of the clock-bound industrial world. But sometimes he does spaz out, I think, to make up for it or whatever.
So you're saying the cats are basically born indigenous?
Yeah.
Born First Nations, yes.
Yep. Very good teachers.
He's definitely First Nations from our street, for sure.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, and yeah, I don't know if you all have any stirrings in your heart we're wanting to, and this is something definitely Frank Viola teaches in the Pagan Christianity book, that the New Testament Christians weren't just like the audience and a pastor always just feeding stuff to them. Everyone can participate, chip in, even if it's just a sentence that's kind of a flame in your heart. So, I think we have one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Christina.
Hi, how's it going? I'm just enjoying the outside today, so I keep moving around wherever the sun's going. But I loved hearing more about your story. I'd love to hear more of just you said that you're of mixed European and I think you said Blackfoot descent. I'd love to hear more about your own journey of that and your own identity and what that's meant for you as a woman. Yeah. Anything you'd like to share?
Sure. Just as far as, Crow and Blackfeet are the tribes I always grew up. I always grew up hearing, that we have Crow. My mom would say, yeah, that's why I never need to shave my legs. I'm Crow, I'm Native American. And, okay. And then the Blackfeet I found out later because she said that her own mom would tell her, yeah, I'm Crow and Blackfeet. And people would be like, Blackfeet? That's not a tribe. That's not real. So she would just say Crow so she wouldn't have to, bother dealing with, laughter or whatever. But yeah, so what I can piece together is that I've heard from some sources that maybe Crow were in Missouri, like this, like the 1890s, maybe selling horses to the Osage there, and the Osage would sell them to the U.S. cavalry. That was, how they met. But yeah, there's a lot lost in the mists of time, and as many natives now have definitely grown up without any of that culture, grown up without a lot of,
and for your
European culture too.
For your white status quo ancestors, it was a little scandalous, wasn't it? They didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they weren't really too keen to, say all the details. So a lot of it was pretty hush hush. So yeah, piecing it back together.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I just wanted to let you both know. I don't know if you remember, but when you were singing, my cat was singing with you. And it's a boy. I couldn't believe it that this cat was singing. So I'm like, be quiet, be quiet. I was going to turn it off. And I said, well, no, it wants to sing. All creation wants to sing too. So let the cat sing. So, and he's all black. He's all black. So you got a neighbor that wants to sing with you.
Oh, that's encouraging. Yeah, our lucky black bobcat looks kind of concerned whenever we sing, and I don't know. It reminds me of Leah McCoo is telling me she saw this report about how like cats, when they're all just alone, 20 cats out in the woods all by themselves, they don't meow. They just, I don't know, give each other the looks or whatever. I don't know. But meowing is something they only use on humans. So I don't know. Maybe they also think those two-leggeds are always singing and making weird noises. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, so
They're thinking, do you expect me to do that?
yeah.
They loved you. They loved you. That's all I know. She was singing at the top of her throat.
Okay, that's good.
I'd like to ask you about your time in UNM.
Mm-hmm.
How was the classes there? Imagine Native American Studies, probably lots of Native Americans, but it was quite a mixture. And how did that change your life going through that?
Yeah. It was a lot of Native Americans in their 20s, and I'm this pretty white-looking middle-aged lady who's a little unusual, whatever. But I made some friends there. That was good, and yeah, UNM's a good university. I like it. And Cedric's over there at UNM. Yeah, it's a good college. They're really, concerned with all the students, not falling through the cracks and getting a good education. Yeah, the different Triple L, Lloyd Lee, yes. He's Danae, one of my professors, and then Tiffany Lee, she's Lakota, I believe. And Mario Atencio, I think he's from Rashawn's town back there. He's been on the Listen Project. He was one of my professors there. And like I mentioned, Gregory Cajete from the Santa Clara Pueblo. Yeah, it was good. There's, a feeling, you hear a lot about all the bad things the missionaries and the Christians have done, and oppression, and it's real true. And I would, tell them about different assignments they would give. I would kind of use them to do things that good medicine way, to try it out. And so I could, tell them that good medicine way exists. And I remember one of my professors, Tiffany Lee, was saying, yeah, I don't usually like any, Christian things, but what you're doing there, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. So, yeah, good to get to know the students there, and yeah, the learning about the different ways of valuing and knowing. I think that was quite a illuminating, lesson one day that really stuck with me.
So Dave put a question in the chat. He says, Leah, your poem mentioned that if you are planted, you will be tended, but you will be blown away if you have no roots. Many people who come to GMW feel that they have been uprooted by their circumstances in life or have landed on rocky soil where they struggle to put down roots. What recommendations do you have for people who struggle with not being rooted?
That's a good one. Not being rooted. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is there's a couple different ways to be rooted. One of them could be with our cultural roots, and another one, well, I think what I always imagined that psalm was talking about was our spiritual roots, and just how King David was such a person about worship, heart of worship, always encouraging people to worship, making sure we got the singers in the temple. We got to have direct people into the presence of God. That's, I think, the most crucial kind of rooting. But I think cultural identity is important, because in Revelations, when it's talking about all the people from all the different tribes and nations and tongues, around Jesus, just worshiping. How do you know they're different ethnicities? As Kimberly Medicine or Jackson would say, well, they've got different kinds of regalia or dress, different kinds of singing or languages. This is how you know they're different. So I think, as a status quo person, for pretty much all my life, and yet a person who's wanting to challenge that. We lived in intentional community in Chicago for 25 years, living in a way more tribal and collective kind of way than status quo Americans. But as a person, who can walk into a store and not have people looking at him twice, or as a person who's been always treated well by the police, etc. I don't, instinctively feel like, oh yeah, my roots are important. But yeah, as India, an American from India heritage, mentioned to a white person, you definitely have a culture, and it almost always, defeats any culture it comes in contact with. Trust me. My roots, even, that's been an interesting thing. I think Cheryl Bear, in her book called Mainstream Americans Unfinished People, because our European roots are maybe kind of dangling in the wind, but what is this new American thing? Definitely has a weird connection to the land it's on. Kind of a lot to untangle there, but yes, I would say spiritual roots are the most important. But
how do you think the native ideas of kinship and family inform ideas of being rooted?
That goes in with the native way of valuing, of working for the harmony of all beings, animals, trees, humans, angels, all beings in all time. So if you've got a sense of that and relationship and family that way, I mean, which I think is painted so beautifully in the Apostle Paul's writings, he talks about, the church down through all time, our relatives, those who, maybe led us to the Lord, and then those who we will lead to the Lord, and having that whole sense of the body of Christ. That's should be a tribal mentality. A lot of people in mainstream America lead real separate lives. They're 1 hour at Sunday morning and go home, but to have more of that body of Christ, tribal mindset, I think is what the New Testament was talking about, which is what we'll learn about in pagan Christianity. Another plug for the book.
I wonder if, not to put you on the spot, Christina, but I wonder if you have any thoughts on that, because I know that's part of your own experience of kind of re-indigenizing and kind of finding your roots and things. Do you have any insights along those lines?
Can you remind me of the question? I was just listening to the stories.
Yeah. So the question was, what recommendations do you have for people who struggle with not feeling rooted or not feeling connected?
I think it's really important for folks to really dig into knowing their ancestors, knowing the kind of people that they come from, because I think we learn that we're a product of community and lineages, and that affects who we are. I would tell someone to visit the land that their ancestors have come from and to let the land speak to them, to listen to family stories, and to pray for if there are spaces and there are question marks, pray that God would fill those spaces and question marks. I've had experiences of things I never thought that I'd not having grown up in traditional ways. There were some things I felt like I could never receive. And yet God has surprised me over and over again with being at the right place at the right time or meeting the right people. Or even it was such a gift to be at Good Medicine Way and to spend a lot of time with Uncle Casey as well. I was telling Uncle Casey, there's so many things that have been healing for me. And because I didn't have elders, to have elders in my life has also been so healing. So seeking out, elders and learning from elders as well. All those things I think are very healing, and letting God fill in the pieces. Like I said, I've been surprised when I've gone to visit the lands of my ancestors. I think by people of peace that have also met me at the right time, that I know is an answer to prayers. And I don't know if you all know this, but I met some of my family that I thought I could never meet. Some of my Cherokee family that when my grandpa passed, my mom kind of lost contact with the family, and they were kind of looking for my mom. And so this past summer, we got to meet family. And that was also, I think, God can answer prayers to fill in gaps when God brings us on a journey of discovering more of our roots and who we are. So, yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very good.
Any in-house questions, comments?
So before I can ask the question, can you reread the part about like the Europeans measure with numbers and something, and that thing? I have a question about it, but I need to hear the words again.
Sure. Okay, so the European way of knowing is through counting and measuring, and then the European way of valuing is through attaining the desired object. And then the native way of knowing is through symbolism, movement, rhythm, and then the native way of valuing is through working for the harmony of all beings in all times.
Okay, so this could be a question for anybody who has a thought on it, but I feel like my brain is really struggling with that, like, native way of knowing. Like, what does that mean? The, like, symbol, the rhythm, like, how is that knowing, or what is it you're knowing through that?
I guess it's the same way as, like, Europeans are always counting and measuring things. Look, this is how successful we are, this many people, or we made this much money or something. But does that mean you've really connected with it? I mean, they say, as our Methodist higher ups say, numbers tell a story. So it says people around here are interested in this, and this many people came. So then you go over to the native way of knowing through rhythm and imagery. Just creating art about something, and maybe it comes from being more oral cultures and not so, writing down all these little minutiae details. It's more of like, what was the big picture, the image, the big, like the story you tell about it, or just so much more dance is integral. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a challenge for sure. Like when you try to wrap your head around a different worldview, if you've been raised and you've grown up in a certain worldview, and especially if it's kind of the status quo worldview, like your whole existence is just kind of permeated by that worldview. So to try to understand a different cultural way of thinking can be really challenging, because there's different benchmarks, there's different measures, there's different ways of understanding. And, I think when you look at kind of American culture, like that, those ideas of counting, measuring, obtaining, like our whole culture is really founded on capitalism and the movement of stuff. And so that's because that's our kind of intrinsic values as a culture, is all revolved around things, possessions, what you have, what you can't, where native ways are more about relationship and how you interact with others. And so it's a completely different way of looking at things. So yeah, it can be a real challenge to just even begin to understand, well, like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you even approach that? Yeah.
Tell me if you think this is maybe an example of two different ways. So at Fort Lewis, we used to have kind of a talking circle prayer meeting thing. So a Western worldview might say, oh, there were 15 people there and they stayed for 2 hours or whatever. The indigenous worldview might listen to the stories people told and say, this is what I think Creator is doing among us. Is that on the right track or no?
It's exactly. I'll share this. Doing this church start, we started it in way in the far corner southeast here in the war zone, and it was really different there. Things that we did there weren't quite what we're doing now. And the more we moved towards getting support from the church to help us, their mentality is just that they wanted to know nickels and noses and location, what it looked like. And we were more about, it's like the people that walk in that door are loved by God. And when they come in here, that's how we treat them. And it could be anybody. Falling down drunk, we got to be careful with them. But people come in and they know us here now, that they can get a sandwich and they can stop in and feel that. And we'll give that to them. We'll give them water. We'll give them everything we can do. But we get a sense of community around what we do, and not so much that we got the numbers that we're here. Like this is one of the biggest groups that we're here, and if I put that in my little report, that's it. I'll get a big smile or something from them. They'll say, well, you guys are doing really good now because your numbers are increasing. Yeah, that's what they'll say. But it's only because of one visit that we had. But I'll tell them this, the amount of relationship that we made during that visit is going to change the direction of a lot of people's lives for the future. And they don't see that kind of community that we have. So if it makes any sense.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm. I think kind of intergenerational concerns, like trying to make sure all generations, young, old, in the middle, are represented and learning from one another, kind of actively, not kind of just shut off in different rooms, but yeah, try to do that more. It could be another part of it.
Yeah, Randy Woodley in some of his books talks a lot about those intersections, and it's really because like the focus of value, I think you'd say, in native culture, like for the Dene people, it's hajo, beauty, but it's really about harmony, like walking in harmony, walking in balance, walking in good relationship. And almost every native group from this continent that's out there, like that's like one of their core values of how do you live in harmony with the creation that's around you, with your neighbors, with your relatives, with, everything, and so I think that's, so like in your example, where you said like, oh, if people come to this meeting, like, the more kind of white culture people want to know, like, how many people were there, did they stay, who made commitments, who's going to volunteer to help, whatever. Where a more native way of looking at that is like focusing on, okay, I've met this new person, how does that relationship inform my understanding of my own place in creation, and then how does that connection inform my other connections that I have? So it's all this, it's hard to explain to people who have like the kind of status quo mindset, because there's not like empirical data that you can point to and say, it's all really fuzzy, and so there's not like, this like quantitative set that you can, just put out there. But it's really much more of that, trying to understand, how do I be in harmony with all of what Creator has made and is doing, and in my own relationship with Creator, and like, so how do all those things, influence each other and balance each other out, so that we're living in and moving in a good way. So, but it's a really fuzzy kind of rubric to put in kind of, American culture terms.
I think we got Jennifer.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi. I just really want to say thank you to Leah Miigwech and Ojibwe Moen thank you for inviting me. It's really great to be here with everybody. I really loved the poem, and especially the part about being uprooted, because I spent a long time in the desert and I learned a lot, but it's so great. And I thank Creator for bringing me back home to where my roots are here. I didn't realize how important being near to my community was until I was away for so long. And Christina shared about reconnecting with family, and I am getting to know my biological father as well, and getting to know the Irish side of me, because I was raised, with my native family, with my mother. And I'm just so thankful to Creator for allowing me to be here today. And I was going to ask Leah, I really, really loved your poem. Have you been writing for a long time?
Yeah, some poems, a lot of like little stories. I'm working on this book called, the working title is The St. Ogan Nature Center. It's kind of fictional stories, magical realism, where people's like characters from the Bible intersect their lives with, people in modern times, and how things are worked out. So that's been like 20 years. Or
You've got some of that online, right?
Yeah, on my Facebook wall. Well, actually, I do have a YouTube page called the St. Ogan Nature Center. So it's videos of me reading little snips of some of those stories.
All this talk about roots had me thinking about this art project that I did, where I thought about the tree of knowledge. And when I exhibited the tree of knowledge, I put it inside of a pot instead of having roots. And it made me think about how you could never really quantify your roots to explain to somebody. And it also makes me think about the prairie. So like for the longest time, everybody thought prairie grasses lived the longest because they went so far they could suck up all the water. And it's really, grasses don't drink beyond like 11 inches of the soil. So the grasses that burn and then regrow, they do that because of the network of their connectedness. And that's how they're able to regenerate so quickly. And so when you were talking about roots, that's what it made me think of, was the prairie grasses and how they drink from the 8 to 10 inch level of the soil, and they don't go down farther than that, really. And that's how they regenerate. It's that web of connectedness feeding each other.
Thank you.
Very good.
That's good. Good words, good stories.
Oh, well, thank you, Leah. And you guys can always connect with her any other time that you got questions too. She's available. You can through myself. You can connect, and maybe Dave can get the email out there too.
Facebook too?
Facebook for sure, Messenger, all those places you can stay connected. And this group here, it's kind of a model of what we're talking about. This is relationship. This is things that bring us closer together. Yeah, it's this interconnectedness, like Evan just mentioned. We may be far apart, but it's this group that kind of, there's a cohesion here that we all kind of connect with it. There's something about the group that just fills a missing part of our lives, I think. So I just want to share that. Thank you, Leah, again. And then we'll turn it over to you as you guys sing us a song.
Yeah, it's a round dance.
Yeah.
Do we have so many people?
You guys know how
What
to
a round dance.
We might be able to. We got some.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
he
I
need
think we need to.
Yeah.
We'll belt it out for the virtual people.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is our lift you up round dance.
Yep, we'll try it. Let's kind of make some room here. I think we can go around this way. We'll do
I wonder if I
something
can
here.
turn this so they can
That's
see
good.
view
Yeah,
it.
that's good. And I think we can go around those chairs this way. And we're probably too small for us in here. But everybody kind of knows how to round dance. Yeah, back them up.
Don't sit down.
Yeah, when we get into our big facility, you got 190 people.
Way-ah-eh-oh, way-ah-eh-oh, way-ah-eh.
you are not. Well, that's fun. You know, traveling with Jonathan Miracle, he makes that, he gets some of his songs going. And he would have me lead groups like this. We had an intervarsity group in, no, it was the, oh, where was that? And we went to Ireland. And a song came up and we just, it was Flying on Wings of Eagles, that song there. And without a cue, and I know I was going to dance, a couple others were going to dance, but all of a sudden, every student that was there knew that song and wanted to dance with us. We were like 50 people.
In Ireland?
All at once, in Ireland. Yeah. It was a, what group was it? I can't think of it now. It'll come to me like 10 minutes later. Yeah, they just came out and they just loved, they just opened up and they wanted to dance with us. They just could not just sit down anymore. They said, I want to get out there. So they all came out and the rest of the night was just chaos. So,
Those Irish.
because what they like to do and what kids like to do is it turned into a flash mob. You know, that, yeah, we started banging and hitting each other. All that.
That sounds like Irish.
Yeah, it got pretty rough. So it was fun though. Yeah. So thank you all for coming tonight. We're going to have Joe Lopez here. He's going to close us out with a sending blessing. And Joe is out there in South LA. What part? No, Terrence. Yeah. So he's coming from LA.
You got it.
Yeah, good.
Well, the sun's setting here, so might as well be done with our meeting, right? Yeah, Leah, thank you for bringing our topic today and inspiring us and giving us thoughts and things to think about. Yeah, I want to encourage all of us, our family here, to take these words into our week. I want to encourage the people in the building to enjoy the fellowship, and knowing that there's a lot of us online that are pretty jealous of you. and everyone who else is online that we can't see. I know that Good Medicine Way values you and values your story and what God's doing in your life. Yeah, go into your week in a good way. And those are my thoughts for our closing tonight.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Yes, everyone that's here, you are welcome. You are loved, and you fit in here. When sometimes you don't fit in your own little worlds you're in. So we love you. Share with us. Come back again. Yeah, good to see you.
Who do we got next week?
Yes. What do we got? I just looked at it. Shoot.
Is that Indigenous Peoples Day? Indigenous Peoples Day, right?
People, it's me. Shoot. Boy, I'm getting worse and worse. So, yeah, Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm going to be bringing up some more of a, it's going to give you a chance to share on what you have to say about Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm going to open it up with some, I don't know, not some controversial stuff, but lead us in a good path so that you can express yourself. This is a time when, we're changing it from Columbus Day. In my calendar here, it still says that, but underneath there, we changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day. And it's come a long ways to get there, so pray about that, and that's what we'll do next week. Week after that, our friend Ralph Yoder from the Farmington area is going to be our speaker, so 2 weeks after that. And then I have to solidify with Cedric here for the 23rd. So we got a good lineup here, and we're booked out into already filling up December now. So lots of folks here. We're good people to come out. Thank you all.
So yeah, next week, represent for Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Yes, that's right. And Canada's going through their Truth and
Orange Shirt Day,
Reconciliation. Yeah, their Truth and Reconciliation time, their orange shirt time too. So, you know, if you want to wear an orange shirt that you have. I think Laura and I, we had an outfit there. I had an orange shirt and she had an orange dress, and we got a nice picture taken just to show our solidarity for, you know, all kids matter, all children matter. So, all right, everyone.
Okay.
Take care.
Leah McCoo, wait after they disconnect.
Yeah, stay on for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, if I need to talk to you too, Casey, before you all leave.
Okay, quick question on Leah McCoo on YouTube. I don't know if you saw it. They had a question. Leah, do they allow you to sing in a synagogue as a shiksa?
I have been hired for funerals.
What's a
and
shiksa? You might want to tell us.
Okay, so what that person probably thinks that a shiksa is a non-Jewish woman. Okay, but it actually is sort of a puta. If you're gonna go with it's kind of a whore. It's kind of like a cheap